Hello, Numerology Junkies. Happy Sunday, or whenever it is that you're tuning in. Hello, hello, and wherever you are in the world, it's good to see you. For those of you who don't know me or are new to the group, I'm Joy Kingsborough. I host this group along with all of our beautiful master numerologists, and I am obsessed with numerology. I have been a numerologist for more than 20 years, been playing with Pythagorean numerology and the Egyptian numerology, where we're using the original system of playing cards. And today I'm definitely feeling like I want to lean into a little bit of both. So I want to talk about the month energy that's coming from our Pythagorean understanding. So we use a Pythagorean method of looking at the influence of the month energy to see how that's influencing our collective consciousness. And because we're a part of the collective, it starts to influence us. So December, this month is all about the collective energy of the number 9. The number 9 is coming in at a really, I think, opportune time as it comes in at the end of the year. And so as we're moving through the end of the year, we're also moving through a larger collective cycle, which from the Egyptian numerology is a cycle of we are entering into the dream time, where we're discovering what it is that we want to experience, what we want to be, how we want to relate, the changes we want to make, the things we want to bring into the world. We are in that time as well. And so those two things come together. The 9, which is really brings in this collective feeling of I'm ready to face whatever is. I'm really ready to face the old cycle and walk away from it and step into something new and higher. So from the biggest perspective possible, that month energy is saying, okay, time to make a clean sweep of something, time to let something pass that you're not going to bring into the new year in order to experience something even better. The 9 also brings in idealism. It brings in this idea that it's possible to experience even more than what you might have realized or thought possible before. So it helps you to go, okay, if I let go of something, I can actually experience something even greater in this thing that I really want. And so it really asks us to see what the truth is, what's actually working and what isn't, what's been leaving. It's not that you're making a decision to let something go. I want to be clear about the 9 energy and how it's showing up for everyone. Is the 9 says you've already been letting something go. You just may or may not be accepting it. You might not realize that it's leaving, right? So you might be having an issue with a friendship or a relationship or a partnership where, the writing has been on the wall for a long time, so to speak. And so in that, you might be noticing that it's time to face the facts, face reality. Yeah. So sounds like you. Yeah. So there's those moments, right, where we just sort of face what is like, this thing is going, this is leaving, this experience is leaving. And that could be anything. It could be something that feels small. It could be something that feels much bigger than that. It really will be personal to you and only and so as I'm talking about this, I'm going to be pulling some cards for our community. And what's great about pulling cards for the whole community is it's an opportunity for us to see, we're all drawn to each other for a reason. There's a lot of different ways that we can connect about numerology, and yet we find ourselves in this community, which I love because we're such a connected community and we are deep divers and we love to experience personal development and we love to take responsibility for our lives and create our stories. We're active manifestors of our life. And so that really unites us. It really brings us together as, we're not a community that is looking for a quick fix or to deny our role or responsibility in things. And yet we want things to accelerate and we want to have those changes as quickly as possible. We just know that we're part of it. And I think that really, we're also a group of people who really care about humans, who care about humanity. And that really is the difference, that people use numbers for a lot of different reasons and a lot of different things. And so that really unites us, which means that we're united by a consciousness that we may or may not see. We might not realize that even though on the surface it might not look like we have a lot in common, the fact that we find ourselves in this community says that we do, that we have at a vibrational level, at a frequency level, we are united, we are connected, we are more alike than not, even if we don't see it. So that's why when we are looking at readings like this, we tend to find that there are pieces that we needed in that, because as we are intuitives, as we are readers, we're picking up on the consciousness, the overriding consciousness of the community. So I'm going to pull cards for the community. We are so connected. Yeah. And so in that, we might not have every challenge that everybody else is having, but we're aligned at some level of frequency. And so we can gain from every single reading because of that. We can gain from everything that is pulled. So I really want to look at this collective departure, sort of what we're moving away from and where we're headed, to see what wisdom comes from the group. And then I will pull a few cards depending on where that reading goes. But I want to make sure that we get a collective reading in so that everyone gets something, gets the piece that they are interested in. So as I'm shuffling, I'm going to invite you to really feel into, are you aware of what's leaving and what's rising up for you? What challenge in that leaving? Are you holding on? Are you feeling attached? Are you having a hard time releasing? Are you nervous about the future? What is happening for you in this transition? Are you afraid to welcome in something greater? Do you believe that you can experience something greater than what you have right now? Are you okay with what is right now? Like where are you in your acceptance of, where I would say the ideal is, I love my life and I love that it keeps getting better, right? Like that perspective of, I'm so willing to release things because I know that in the releasing, it's not that I can't have something. Releasing isn't lack. Releasing is the acceptance that I am so incredibly abundant that things are moving through my life and I don't need to hoard or hold on to that I know that things are moving through me. And so I allow things to keep moving through me, which creates an experience of abundance and blessing in my story. All right. So I'm going to dive right into our collective reading, which is for all of us. Yeah. Nervous about future and having a hard time releasing. Yeah. So just bring that into your consciousness, whatever it is that you're feeling right now about this transition, whether it's the transition of the year, the transition in your career, the transition in your love, your health, whatever that is. What is the transition? Maybe you've just awakened to something. Well, let's see what's in store. And again, for those of you who are new to the community, I'm using playing cards. I'm using a standard deck of playing cards. And in that, we get an influence of our the consciousness of the situation, and we'll get an influence of the consciousness of the situation related to the different suits. And then we'll get a consciousness clue from the number as well. So we can use this. This is where numerology birthed from. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Beautiful. So we're trying to help a homeless man get off the streets today. Pray he allows us to help him. That is exactly it. Will he allow the flow of conditions? Will he allow that shift? Yeah. All right. So let's see what's happening so that we can allow ourselves to be in a greater state of abundance, which then becomes the influence of a greater state of abundance, with willingness to release all of those things. All right. So let's look and see what so sort of what's unfolding. I'm going to look at this I can feel looking at it from a collective influence, as well as how we're responding, the invitation we're getting to respond. So, okay. I'm pulling a few cards here so I can get a perspective, a bigger perspective on sort of the overall story. I love doing individual cards, but individual cards are like a chunk of it. When we look at it, when we use more context, it's the same thing we talk about numerology when we're looking at our ruling number, or we're looking at our day number, or we're looking at season influences. The challenge with any individual piece is it can give you an inclination of things, but it doesn't give you the whole story. So we're going to look at this. I'm actually using, how appropriate, a 9-card reading. So I've got 9 cards that I'm looking at in a particular way. Some of you know the 9-card reading. Yeah. That I love that share saying, I feel something needs releasing, but not sure what it is, right? Yeah, that can be frustrating because you can feel something going. And sometimes because we're so caught up in the mental spinning of what's going on in our lives, sometimes we're not aware. It's like, oh, something's going, but I'm not sure what it is. And it may be that something's moving out of your story that you have no control over. It's something that you don't see leaving because you're not in charge of it leaving, but its impact is intended to really support you. I think that's going to be that way for a few people. So I have this first combination of right now we're being influenced by the energy of the two of hearts, the five of hearts, the five of clubs. So we've got this two of hearts showing up. The two of hearts is showing up at the very starting point of this reading saying, I am the core energy that is being transmuted or transitioned. The two of hearts indicates that collectively we're experiencing a reflection of ourselves. We're really looking at ourselves right now. We're looking at ourselves through the lens of other people. So we're noticing other people and we're either judging them as in a negative light or in a positive light. But either way we're doing that, it's a reflection of who we are. It's a reflection of how we see ourselves and maybe what we hold ourselves to. So we're looking at that. And recently we've experienced change. So both of these cards are coming in saying, before this month started, before December came in, we have the five of hearts, which means people in your life have changed. Your community has changed. People in your life have changed. Something's going on with the people that you've been connected to and people connected in family or career. So the five of clubs shows that you're likely experiencing either you changed career focus or changed who you were connected to in career, in partnership or different clients or that kind of thing. You've been experiencing a lot of change, or within family. So you may have recently gone through a separation or you have moved away from family. There's something that has occurred that has caused you to see with new eyes. New conditions are unfolding. New things are occurring in your experience. So it definitely feels like it's really, this reading is deeply connected to our experience of others, how we're experiencing people, how we want to experience people. So I love that. And just as I see the comment, I am grateful for this community and the heart connection. I feel the same. So there's been some releasing. There's been some shifting. That's influencing. So when I look at that, when I look at those cards, I can clearly see that we are all reeling from or experiencing the influence of a change that happened with people. And this may have happened last month, a few weeks ago, maybe it was longer than that, but there's a change that occurred. Maybe someone left this world, maybe someone just left your life, or again, you moved. Something's going on there where you feel the ripple effect of how that's impacting what's next. So what's next, then we have this experience of the 10 of hearts showing up saying, okay, so from the 2 of hearts, we go to the 10 of hearts. Fulfillment is calling you forward, the fulfillment of your expression in community, who you are in community, what kind of community you want to experience, and who you want to be as a reflection within that community. Definitely experiencing new energy with community, because what's supporting that community energy is the 9 of diamonds and the ace of diamonds. So this is a very physically fulfilling experience. This is about physical people in your life and in your story. You're moving towards a new physical experience with people. That means that, we could, on the surface of this 9 energy month, you might be doing something different this holiday than you've ever done. You might be seeing different people, might be having a different experience, maybe how you're, connecting with or supporting your community is different than it's been in the past. So something has changed. It's also an indication that you likely are navigating a change in finance around people and community and how that looks. So there's an adjustment in that. There's a different way that you're expressing. And so in that expression, it's just noticing that right now you're feeling that shift. You're feeling the transition of it. You're feeling, when I look at what's really powerful about these 3 cards. So I'm going to just talk about these 3 cards of the now. This is the now moment. The now is you're ready to fulfill something bigger. How you're fulfilling that is the 9 plus the 1, which is also 10, but it's the 9 plus the 1 in the physical. The 9 is an ending must occur for a beginning to happen, and they're happening simultaneously, which allows you to experience fulfillment. This goes back to the flow of change I was talking about. So in order to have an experience of change in community, it's not just about leaving something, it's about going somewhere. Do you know where you're headed? Do you know what you want? Do you know what the experience wants to be? If you're withdrawing time here, are you expressing time somewhere else? If you're withdrawing focus here, are you moving it somewhere else? If you're moving money out of your account, is it moving into an investment? How are things flowing for you in community and connection? You might be investing in expanding community. You might be investing in, going into a mastermind. Maybe you've decided that you're going to be a part of a mastermind next year. Maybe you've decided that you're going to build a community and you've invested in software. This really has an indication that right now you're considering what the investment is, and you might be getting too caught up on one side or the other and not recognizing the flow, right? So maybe there's this experience that I'm letting go of here that is calling in a new experience. Maybe I'm getting caught up on what I'm letting go of instead of where I'm headed. Or maybe I'm so focused on where I'm headed, I'm not paying attention to the fact that I need to invest or let go of something. I need to move something. So everything's in movement. Fulfillment is not static, it's still flow, but everything's happening in order to fulfill something powerful. So if you're just coming onto the live right now, I see some people asking for cards and those types of things. That's beautiful. I'm doing a reading for everyone. It's got a piece for everyone. So I'm really connecting in with what's happening. I'm transitioning now from the reading of the now into where we're all headed. And so I just invite you to notice what piece is for you. And if I have time to do individual cards at the end, I'll do that too. All right, so the 10 of spades is where we're headed. So look, we've got this 2 of hearts that's really recognizing where we've been, which is discovering ourselves, deciding to make more of a change to see ourselves in a higher way. Moving into new community is where we're at now. How can I see myself in a more fulfilled way? And as we focus on that, where we're headed is taking our experience to that higher place that we imagine, having something unfold that I think we don't even know is possible yet. We're going to experience a breakthrough of, I would say, epic proportions, that there is going to be a shift. If you allow yourself to be in that flow of something's going, something's coming in, then this new year is going to create an experience that is beyond perception without needing to. I think what's really coming up for me right now in this transition of year, what this 9 is bringing is an opportunity to walk into the new year really clear, having let go, not being so full, so that what you want can be experienced and you can be coachable, you can be teachable. The cards that are supporting that 10 of spades is something more is possible than you can dream of right now. That you're dreaming of it and you're allowing things to change. And if you could allow yourself to let the changes happen first, then you'll see what's possible instead of trying to get yourself to the further vision. Allow yourself to be in transition, allow yourself to be with it, to see what is while the dream demonstrates itself to you. And as it does that, you are going to be shown. So the Jack of Spades is very much a you don't even know what you're going to want come January. You don't even know what's going to be possible. There's going to be something that takes you way beyond what you thought you could do. You are going to be shown, you are going to be taught. Are you a student as well as a leader? Are you a leader who's always learning? Are you willing to fulfill your dream knowing that your dream could be higher than you even know? Are you willing to do that? If you do, then you also have this 7 of Hearts energy coming, saying you are going to be shown, and you're going to be shown what it's like to really experience higher love with yourself and the world, and to see that reflection. So let's put these cards together in another way to see sort of why that would be so important. Let's look at where we started, 2 of Hearts. 2 of Hearts is being impacted. Our journey of seeing ourselves is allowing us to step up to a new reality or new experience, a new version of ourselves. to see ourselves with more love, right? So we have, in order to see ourselves with more love, in order to see what's possible, in order to experience even more, we need to release. And so if we focus on this 9, this key energy of the 9, it says you utilize the letting go in the physical world, right? The diamonds is all about the physical releasing of the 9. There are physical things that must go. And when they do, the emotional confidence, self-awareness, self-love, self-reflection, all of that goes to a place that you didn't even know was possible. And as a result, you're going to trust yourself to take leaps of faith in the new year that bring about a new year in a way that if you're really paying attention and you're really present, maybe you can experience more in that year than you've ever experienced. This moving into a 7 is really powerful. We're moving into a 7 energy year. So how brilliant is it that that 7 is really calling us all higher to higher love, taking a risk, taking a leap of faith on yourself. So seeing yourself, letting go of things in the physical world that don't match who you are, allows you to see yourself in an even higher light. And so I think, that's the reason why the letting go is so important. If you're willing to let these things go, let them fall away, see the physical things transitioning, if you just let it occur, then what you want will be more accessible. So I really love that. What else is possible is that if you've been looking for a change in lifestyle, who hasn't? I really feel like everybody in this community has been really the core aligned intention of the group. And I use intention in a very specific way. For me, intention is the inner tension to create. It's that something inside of you that doesn't need things to be wrong or broken. It's that thing inside of you that knows, I, again, love my life and I love it more every day, which means I love what's happening and I love even more. And so I embrace change. I embrace lifestyle change. So here's that 5 of clubs that's now showing up in partnership with that 9 of diamonds. That 9 of diamonds is saying, okay, so if you really are ready to embrace the change, then embrace this one. Embrace this physical change that it might not make sense. You might be like, but I really love that. I really love this physical thing. I don't understand. It's not broken. Well, this is your big breakthrough right now. You do not have to say goodbye to things that are only broken. You can say goodbye to things that are totally intact and great. You've been taught that holding on to things until they can't be used anymore, until they're totally worn out, is the point. And you've been taught that you can't let go of something that's good in order to experience something that's great, right? You've been taught the opposite. Hold on, use that. You don't need more. Just be with what is, and don't have desire that somehow that's wasteful. I understand that in certain contexts, but the truth is the universe is just reconstructing energy anyway. It's taking energy and moving it into other energy. The universe doesn't see it the way humans see it. The universe doesn't see things as just us treating it as disposable. The universe sees it as transitionary, right? That it's transitioning. And so then it comes with this beautiful energy of the 10 of spades with that 9 of diamonds saying, if you let go, well, you get something higher. You experience fulfillment at a much higher level. So we're getting a lot of reinforcement right now that whatever this physical thing is that's shifting, even if you don't know what it is, if you just allow, if you notice and observe your physical world, if you become the observer of your story. So go back to that 2 of hearts. If you become an observer of your story right now, all month long. So I look at this 10 of hearts with those 10s, observe what's being fulfilled for you. This is our first step. Step 1 to really mastering this 9 energy month is take the 2 of hearts energy of this reading with the 10s. I'm willing to see myself as someone whose experience is fulfilled, the 10s. I am someone who is fulfilling their highest purpose, their highest journey all the time. I am that someone. Decide that that's true for you. I am the someone that's fulfilling my life story. I am the someone that's fulfilling my desires, my deepest desires. So I'm someone who does that. which then leads me to someone who is able to emotionally process and release. I can emotionally release my attachments to the physical world so that I can be shown, so that I can be taught, so that I can learn what's next for me. That's the learning. I'm emotionally letting go of my attachments. I do not know in my physical world what really is going to stay and what's going to go. I don't know, but I'm willing to witness and I'm willing to embrace the change and release attachment. Releasing attachment is emotional as well as mental. So then as a result, you release also the mental. And as you release the mental attachment, you want to release the mental attachment to what might be being created. Maybe you think you know exactly what you want to create, but maybe you don't know because you haven't had a chance to experience yourself through the eyes of greater love. That you haven't trusted yourself enough to really let in the even bigger thing. My sense is for this group is that there's something even bigger than you dream, or there's some big dream that you keep putting off. Like, well, maybe, in 10 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, but maybe you've been saying that for 5 or 10 years. Maybe you're like, well, someday. And I feel like the universe is really speaking through these numbers saying, well, that someday could be now. If you're willing to open yourself up, I really feel just such an invitation of surrender and surrendering in the material. So as I look at this, the reading in the middle of these 9 cards, the 9 of diamonds is the centerpiece. This is the center that connects with this 9 energy month. It says, can you release a couple of things? I look at the 2 of hearts with this as the core card, your reflection of you. Can you release your attachment to the physical world? Can you release your belief that what you see in the physical world is you? It's a mirror of what you're experiencing, but you are in charge of changing things. You're experiencing something that's beyond the material. You're a consciousness, you're a stream, you're a spiritual being from my perspective. You are a spiritual being that's moving through this body. And if you release your attachment to the physical world, then change becomes a natural part of the flow of abundance. And so I think that's really the invitation right now, is primarily the releasing in the physical. Are you willing to release in the physical? Oh, I love that. I see that that's definitely resonating with a lot of you. So I'm going to shuffle, and I will pull just a few cards here. I'm just taking a look at the time. Yeah, why not now? And that really is part of the bringing yourself to now, is in that physical. Can I let myself be now with the physical world? As I look out, I'm looking out my window and seeing that it's a little gray and overcast. It feels like something's coming in. Maybe it's rain, maybe it's snow. I'm not sure. I live in the desert. It could be any combination of things, or it could just stay gray all day. Who knows? And I could let go of needing to know what's next. And I can just be with it, right? Or I can hurriedly look at the weather. I wonder what it's going to be. I could pull a card. What's the weather going to be? Or I could be in the now and say, what will allow me to be more present with what is right now so that I don't stop my goodness from arising in this moment by needing to know what it is, by micromanaging it in my mind or heart? What would help me? This is where I want to pull cards. So I'm going to pull a few cards, and for a few of us, and I'm going to pull 5. I'm going to pull for 5 people. So if you want a card, let me know. I'm going to randomly, no, it's not going to be random. I'm going to allow my consciousness to flow through, and I'm going to select 5 people. We're going to pull cards and look at what it is that can help you be now. And this is for all of us. And I hope you can feel my deep love in why I'm doing this. Is for you to be here now is the key to you experiencing your highest good. Each of you deserves your highest good. I'd rather you experienced your highest good rather than being right and knowing what's next. And if you'd rather know what's next and be right, you are limiting your goodness by needing to be right. And so my invitation is to take a breath and surrender to this moment. Am I willing to receive my highest good? Am I willing to receive the message in this now that will help me surrender? Or am I more caught up in, but my past stops me, or my future this isn't possible. I need to know. I need to know how to let go of my past or my future. Could I be now? So I'm going to pull cards for those who can be now. Okay. If you put your name on there, that would be really useful. And I apologize for those of you who have posted. Many of you, I can't see your names. Yeah, I'm going to pull a card for Katie. I see you there, and I feel like you posted earlier. Katie Mullis. I'm just going to pull a card about your present moment, how to surrender more to the now. So surrendering more to the now, the Queen of Spades. So this Queen of Spades is surrendering more to the now, unfolds through my connection to my divine source, to my guides, to my higher self, to the information that channels and flows through me as an intuitive knowing or a channeled source of information, as an intuitive flow, as a download of what I'm receiving when I connect in with my inner self, when I connect in with my higher self, my divine 5-dimensional being, the observer of my story, when I connect in and I allow myself to shift from the state of being so connected to the body that I allow myself to be a spiritual being connected to this body, through this body, not as the body, but through it. That I allow myself to shift perspective, shift perception, and remember that I am connected to the divine. I am one with the divine. I am united with the divine. That from that space, all the information that I could possibly ever desire will come through that and flow through me. And that there is something now that wants me to surrender to this connection, that surrendering to this connection is the number one thing that moves me forward in my story. It's the number one thing that allows me to receive my good. When I am not connected to my higher self in the now, I limit my good at this time. So right now, I choose to be connected. That's the invitation of the Queen of Spades. Okay. All right, Susie in the now. Let's pull a card for Susie in the now. And as always, you know when the card is also for you. And there's a piece of each one of these cards that is for you. There is a universal aligned message for you. Now, while each of us has unique pathways and unique things that can shift us dramatically, it'll be more aligned for the individual that's called. It'll be very precise. And yet, for the collective, it will create a ripple effect of meaning and shift for you. Oh, these queens, they've come into play today. So Susie, for you, the Queen of Diamonds has come in, and she says right now, if you can surrender to the flow of the material world, if you can be with it and take action and create from the space of, I'm going to be with the physical world as it is right now. I'm going to be with it as things move, as they transition from my experience, as they go and as they flow through. I'm going to allow myself to be in a receptive state. I'm going to allow myself to receive the experience of the material world being in flux and change with me. I'm going to inhale abundance, exhale flow, exhale abundance. I'm going to be a divine counterpart. I'm going to be a divine conduit. I'm going to be a divine partner of the flow of what's happening in the material world. I'm not going to resist the movement of material things. I'm not going to resist the flow of matter, because matter that's moving through me is helping the whole world experience wealth and abundance. It is okay for me to receive and express abundantly. It is okay for me, to be the divine flow of the essence of how I came to impact this world. I came to impact the world by allowing myself in the now to always be an example to the world of just how good it can be, and that we can nurture the material world by not holding on to it, by allowing it to flow, by allowing the material world to be in its experience of constantly moving vibrational molecules, of everything constantly rearranging, that I'm going to be a witness for the world of what it is to embrace the constant dance of the divine spark of all particles of life, that I am here with the quantum of the material, and I am here with the expansive of the material world. I am here for the flow of wealth in all its forms, small, medium, large, all of it. I am here to help to be the divine mother of wealth in this world, to lovingly move it through my experience. I will allow myself to receive the fullness of the material world in this moment, in this now. And as I do that, I allow it to also move through me, so that I can feel the divine connection that is possible to witness in the material world, that I can see as things flow through me. It's part of me witnessing the connection of my thoughts with others, and my feelings and vibration with the vibrations of others, that I can witness reality. I can witness my part in creation. I am creator in this now. To surrender to what will be and what was, I witness myself as creator now. I embrace myself as creator now. Beautiful. Okay. There's so many of you that I don't know your name. So I'm going to lean into, I feel pulled to Chantel. And specifically, if there are other Chantels, you put Chantel in the post, Chantel if aligned. So we're feeling into your energy and the surrender to now that is your invitation. The surrender to now is the King of Clubs. And so as we witness the energy of the King of Clubs coming through, the Queen of Clubs is inviting you to recognize that you have created an aligned expression for yourself based on devotion to a message. There's a devotion to a message that you stepped into quite some number of years ago. It's a message that has always been through you, that as you move away from who you are and then as you return, you recognize the message. And the message has been, you move away from the message and you come back to the message. And each time you come back to the message, you become aware of it in a new way. And as a result, you have matured, you have stepped into mastery of the message, that while you were gifted the message at a very early time, you were unsure, you were unaware that you needed to develop the message and to master it. And so in this moment, as you arrive back to the message again, as you arrive back into the message here in this now, in the fullness of how you see it, understand it, experience, express it today, you are willing to receive the awareness that you are ready to take it out into the world. You are ready to express it, that your message is the point, that the message that flows through you is you. It is you expressing in your fullest, that the expression of the message is as you've become you, it has defined the message. And so here you are in this moment, surrendering to, when I surrender to the message, I surrender to myself. When I surrender to myself, I speak the message and I lead others to themselves through these words. I'm never leading anyone to a message. I'm leading them to themselves. The message is the pathway to the understanding of self. And when I see and understand myself, I can then see and understand others. And in this now, if I surrender to seeing them through the message, If I surrender to seeing me through the message, if I surrender to seeing the world through their message, then I let go of any chasing or needing to be leader. I just am. I just am. When I surrender the need to be seen as a leader and simply see myself through the message, the leadership naturally emerges, it naturally arises. I lead by not needing to lead. I lead by seeing myself through the message. And I am valuable and worthy, and this message is intended for the world. It's intended for the world now, not yesterday or tomorrow, now. Now is the perfect divine timing for the message to move out. Okay. All right, Jeannie Lee. In the now. Surrendering in the now. Surrendering a viewpoint or surrendering an experience that is outside of now. A viewpoint that pulls you into the past or propels you into the future. We want to bring ourselves to this now moment and anchor into a space that allows us all to experience our greatest good now and ongoing. That's the key to coming into the now, to surrendering to this message, which for Jeannie Lee, we have the 8 of clubs showing up, and the 8 of clubs is a surrendering to devotion of I'm willing to choose a pathway, a thought, an idea. I'm willing to allow myself to be devoted. I'm willing to experience the devotion, knowing that there will come a time when I will get more information and I will experience the completion of something that will then allow me to shift and change. That devotion doesn't mean forever. Devotion means until. Devotion means now until. I'm willing to be devoted now. I don't need to think about how this will be in the future or why in the past I couldn't be here now. But right now, in this moment, I allow myself to choose a path of devotion, that I am devotion expressing itself as the path in front of me, that as I'm thinking about career and lifestyle, as I'm thinking about family, as I'm thinking about what's in front of me, as I'm thinking about all the potentials and possibilities, I'm going to go ahead and see what happens in the unfolding of my now devotion. Am I devoted now to what's pouring through me, what I'm interested in this moment? Is this moment, is the interest and desire that I have to express in the world, is it worthy of my devotion? Can I be here present with what I'm thinking and feeling, what's in front of me, what I'm enjoying, what I'm expressing? Am I willing to be here now with it to see where it goes? And am I willing to be here now with it, saying yes? Not just being with it, but say yes to how it wants to move my thoughts, how it wants to move my body, how it wants to move my life. Will I say yes to it now? And then take a breath, and in the new now, will I say yes to it again? What is my devotion? What do I say yes to? Am I devoted outside of myself or inside of myself? What is the devotion? What is the path of devotion? In this now, am I devoted within or am I devoted out there? Am I devoted to outside conditions? Am I devoted to what others want me to do, say, believe, experience? Or in this now, could I bring myself into a place of surrendering to what I choose to do? What if I chose to say yes to my life, to my desires? Do I know the I that has those desires? Do I notice the observer, or am I caught up in thought? Do I have the momentum of other people's ideas moving through my mind? Can I see through it? Can I take a breath? Can I witness the thoughts? And from that I that is witnessing, can I devote myself to my true desire? Can I see what I have been devoting myself to and let that go? Can I allow myself to notice the direction things are headed in this now? What have I been devoted to? What am I devoted to? Do I love what I'm devoted to? Am I up for that? Do I say yes to what I'm devoted to thinking and feeling right now? Am I devoted to what my life looks like right now? What in my life am I devoted to experiencing more of? You are deeply enmeshed, connected to now, the abundance that is fulfilling in your life now. There is a flow moving through you now that wants to be experienced in a bigger way. Can you surrender to that now devotion, that now focus, that now yes? Beautiful. Okay. I love that. What a beautiful devotion, Lori, to be here present with. Today is the returning of my birth cycle. Today is the return back to the place in the sky and the solar system in the universe where my birth took place, where I chose to begin this life, where I said yes to being alive. That's what a birthday is. It's this moment you decided to be alive and then carry that 365 days. Amazing. So let's pull a card for being here now. Imagine being here now for 365 days. Being here now, being you now, being love now, being self now, every single day. All right, let's see. Let's reflect that. Let's see what consciousness is coming in to support. We feel your alignment with that quite strong. We feel that you are in the now, although part of you is sort of shifting into future thought often. And so we get the Six of Spades coming in saying, be here now, your higher is already fulfilling. Be here now, your highest is already being experienced. It's already coming in. There are things for you to witness. There are things for you to see. That right now is a time of observation as you prepare to expand. Be open to, in this now, receiving the feedback of what is growing and what is becoming higher in your story. And as you are connected to what am I noticing in this now? What am I seeing, feeling, experiencing? What am I willing to welcome in? Am I open? Am I closed? Am I curious? Do I know? Do I need to know? Am I okay with the things that haven't yet arisen in my story? Am I now? In the now, do I welcome surprise? Do I welcome possibility? Do I look for possibility, or do I look for knowing in the now? The Six of Spades invites in more possibility, more expansion of this state of curiosity, this state of not knowing, not needing to know, this state of choosing to be and choosing what state you'll experience life in, but not needing to choose exactly how it's fulfilled. So just as you said, I choose love, I choose me, I choose expansion, I choose to express as my own divine being. I choose devotion to self, and as a result, I also choose to see more of who I am and what's possible. I love that. And we feel that you're very much on track, very much on path. Oh, that's beautiful, Stephanie. Yeah, the law of grace is very much a universal 9 influence as we play with these 9 energies. That is definitely something that flows through. Okay. Let's see. Allison. And we actually feel one more after Allison. So Allison's now moment Surrendering to the now. So the King of Clubs has more to say. The King of Clubs has come into the surrendering to the now. The King of Clubs really expressing this invitation that knowledge can always go higher. What you understand, what you see, what you know can always go higher. It can always be brought higher, which means it's always enough and expanding and growing, which means confidence does not come from having the answer. Confidence comes from the openness, the willingness to know that you'll always seek higher wisdom, but it won't stop you from expressing what's currently available. And you will express what is currently available with confidence, not that you are right or accurate, but that you are in the highest state possible today. In this now, you surrender to expressing the highest today. You are willing to receive even more awareness today. Right now, you're willing to receive more and express more as you are, as you understand it today. And that in turn will shift your understanding. That in turn will shift your impact in the world by connecting with you with the confidence that you are willing to express a message, not that you need to know it's the right message. So confidence comes not from being right, but from the faith of being as integral as you can be in each moment. That when you show up with integrity, you keep showing up with integrity and you learn from that integrity. And in this moment, I surrender to needing to be right and instead choose to be integral, which means I am integral. The inner tension in me will not allow me to tell something that is false to the world based on how I understand it now. But how I understand it now is worthy of being seen and understood because I am open to always growing and expanding. Yeah, beautiful. All right. As we pull a card for Christine Stewart, we end with our final 9 of the day. We end with the 9 of Spades, and the 9 of Spades wanting to come through and invite you to a surrender to your greatness, to a surrender to your extraordinary gift to the world, to surrender what you think you should be, to surrender your judgments, to surrender your beliefs, to surrender the ideas that you think are the highest, to surrender thought, to allow yourself to be the witness, to be in awareness, to notice, to surrender any physical expectation, obligation, any physical idea, any idea that the physical conditions need to look a certain way for you to experience your greatness. To surrender any idea that the world reflects your greatness by the quality of your desire, that wanting a desire that is beyond what is actually your desire does not lead to your greatness. It leads to your disappointment. To want what the world wants leads to your disappointment. To want what the world wants and not what you want, to surrender to the collective or to someone else's desire, to look outside of yourself for what is the best. To be spiritual looks like this, to be abundant looks like this, to be healthy looks like this. Any of those preconceptions from the outside changing world and opinion. is a recipe for your own destruction, your own lack and abuse and pain. In this now, surrendering attachment to any idea outside of yourself, releasing any expectation other than the expectation to experience you in the fullness of your greatness, and to be an ever evolving, expanding expression of your greatness. The very nature of me moving through this body and this life is the expression of my greatness. And whatever transmutation must occur in my experience, I welcome it now. I welcome any change, spiritual, material, emotional, mental. I release it all. I release any ideas about what my life should look like, or feel like, or be like. And rather, I show up as an ever expanding version of the extraordinary, of the divine, of excellence itself. I am that. I am that which flows through this space for a time, and I allow any transition in this space to unfold as this space needs, as this space requires, desires, as this space co-creates. I move through it with the remembrance of the timelessness of myself, so that I might express the extraordinary and for a time touch this world and reveal its magic to itself. I am that. All right, loves. Beautiful way to bring our conversation to a close. I love you all so much. It always feels so good to be with you. Each conversation, I feel like I love just a little bit more than the last. And isn't that the point? That is the power of the 9, to love the moment, to love this conversation, to love this day, to love this being, and then know that you're going to wake up and you're going to do it again and again and again. You're going to love it even more. That's the gift of the 9. Lots of love, everyone. We will see you soon. Bye for now.